Today we're gonna be talking about something that we all love and grew up eating. I'm gonna show you different recipes on how to make perfect garlic bread. Okay, so there are tons of ways you can make garlic bread, and I'm gonna show you everything from a very simple one to an extremely decadent one. So let's start with the one that will take us slightly longer to make. If you haven't seen these yet, that means you haven't spent too much time in the internet just going down a dark hole or been to Korea. They have a garlic bread there that's basically a 6-side garlic bread that's made with a round loaf of bread, which is then stuffed with cream cheese, butter, condensed milk, and all the works. And it's absolutely delicious. So very simple, all we're gonna do is cut this into 6 different sections. You don't want to go all the way down, but just leave some space there. I'm gonna make this into more, so at least it's easier to kind of pull out. So I'm using a sourdough loaf here. You could also use just kind of like any commercial bread that usually has a slightly softer exterior and crust. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have actually 8 sections. So you see, it's not cut all the way down, so at least it still holds together. Now we're gonna make the filling. All we need is some cream cheese. Then we're gonna juice half a lemon. Actually, let's go ahead and add the whole lemon. Some heavy cream, and then just bash all that together. At this point, I've actually seen people add sugar, but I think because the glaze we'll be adding with the butter already has condensed milk, I don't really think we need to add sugar here. Once everything is smooth, just keep it to the side. Now for our butter mixture. I've got some melted butter over here. To that, I'm gonna add some Parmesan cheese, some condensed milk, and just mix all of that together. And then finally, this is nothing without garlic. So to save us time for all the other recipes, I'm just gonna take a bunch of garlic, put it in the food processor, and just get everything nicely minced. That's beautifully minced. All we gotta do now is add a couple tablespoons into our butter and condensed milk mixture. Let's do one like massive tablespoon, so it looks like 3 tablespoons. Mix all that together. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. All we gotta do now is actually prep the bread itself. Get a pan that you know can go into the oven quite easily. We then take our bread. We then take our filling mixture. I'm gonna place all of that mixture into our piping bag. And then we go ahead and pipe the mixture all over and inside the bread. Make sure every side is full. Once all that is ready, we then take our butter, condensed milk, and garlic mixture and go ahead and just place it all over on top of the bread. It looks like a mess, but trust me, this is gonna be so good and absolutely decadent. There is nothing healthy about this recipe. All this then goes into the oven for about 20 minutes, and trust me, when it goes out, it's gonna be probably one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen in your life. Our pièce de résistance, look at that. Looks insane. Let's cut out one slice. When you put that knife inside there, it just comes out like buttery soft. Look at that. Creamy, delicious, and it just looks extremely decadent. And that sweetness of the condensed milk really comes through on the crust. It's like sugary, buttery. It's probably like one of the fattiest recipes we've ever made on this channel. I'm wearing my new Fat Kid Inside Fit Unit shirt, which has nothing to do with this recipe. If you want to go and buy it, go to merchbuy.ph. Now that's what you call the ultimate garlic bread. Next, we're gonna be doing one of those garlic breads that you've probably seen at Domino's or some like Pizza Huts or stuff like that, where they basically take a loaf of bread, just like this one. So I'm using a crusty baguette. You can also use a soft bread roll if you want to. Honestly, for me, I like the texture of a harder bread, but if you want something soft, you can do that as well. Cut that into sections. Try to get them as equal as possible without going all the way down to the bottom, just like that. Then what we're gonna do is, I still have some residue garlic over here, and we're gonna use just this amount. So this is about 2 to 3 tablespoons again. I'm gonna add some butter that's like room temperature to this mix. And at the same time, I'm gonna add some parsley. So think of this as kind of like a compound butter. You basically want this to be kind of like nice and smooth. So if I take it out now, you'll see that it's completely spreadable, which is exactly what we're looking for. You can put this in kind of like plastics and tie it up and then keep that as a log in your fridge as well when you have like fancy dinner parties and stuff. People always love the effort that's made when you customize your butters. So I got my loaf of bread here, some aluminum foil. We're gonna take that butter and then put it all the way on top, but also in between of all our bread segments. Make sure you then cover it completely. And don't worry, that butter is gonna go all over the place, especially when it's inside the aluminum foil. One of the reasons why we're actually putting it in the foil is to make sure that you're not getting the bread crispier, because that's not what we want. Roll that up, and that goes into the oven too for about 10 to 15 minutes. Here we have our baguette garlic bread. This will come out absolutely beautiful. Tear off a piece, you'll see that it got nice and soft, but it still retained some of its crunch in the bottom, which I think is super important. This really reminds me of that garlic roll that you have with like pasta and stuff. So good. The next one isn't just the garlic bread, it's kind of like a garlic grilled cheese. And yes, it is as good as it sounds. Sourdough, 2 nice slices, hopefully more or less the same size. Then I'm gonna go ahead and use that compound butter that we made a while ago. Spread that into the inner side of the bread on both sides. The key to good grilled cheese, a lot of people say, is the cheese, obviously, which makes a lot of sense. But for me, honestly, it's about how much butter you actually put when you're cooking it. If you guys remember that movie Chef, that sequence or that scene when he's making that garlic bread made everyone's mouth water, including mine. And because they just added so much butter while cooking it. And then when you cook it, really low fire with some butter as well. So I've got some yellow cheddar. I like to grate my cheese so that way it melts even faster. Put that on top of our bread, compact it, and then I've got some Gruyere cheese as well. The different kinds of cheese that you use, it really is up to you. I like having different textures and different flavors. So Gruyere kind of has this like almost mild nutty flavor, whereas cheddar for me is an essential part of a grilled cheese and has that sharpness and acidity that I look for. That goes onto the cheddar cheese as well. Close that up. And now super key on our cast iron pan, some oil just to make sure that the butter doesn't burn. And then to this, we can add the compound butter if you want, or we can add just some regular butter as well. Cook it slowly on one side. When you see your cheese slightly melting, we can go ahead and flip it to the other side. Once all sides are nice and toasted, you can kind of go ahead and remove it. Let's cut into this baby. Do not be afraid of that char on the bread. That is all flavor. Beautifully melted on the inside. Let's take some beauty shots and then take a bite out of this bad boy. All right, this is my favorite part. Breaking it off, dripping with butter. That long cheese pull. It's crunchy, extremely garlicky, and that butter makes all the difference.